try to hit me in the gut, thinking that I won't react. You whisper in my name, thinking I won't be the same. Turn fiction into fact. See what you didn't know, bruises that I'll never show, slipping on your every jab. So tighten up your fist, step into the ring with this. I hope your mama's got your back. First round, you thought you would've knocked me down. Fifth round, bleeding out the side of your mouth. Final round, holding the sound of my name in the crowd. You hit a buzz. Oh, 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 oh. You hit a buzz. Oh, 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 oh. Just 'cause I took a break, you're making a huge mistake, thinking you can take the throne. Look at you trembling, step into the lion's den. Bet you wish you stayed at home, begging for mercy underneath your breath when I ain't even sweating yet.
Hey Nick, Sean Spicer. I understand there's some controversy brewing about how many subscribers you have on YouTube. You have more subscribers than anybody. And it's probably the biggest, largest YouTube subscription that anybody's had. But also, it's not numbers that matter, Nick. And I know everyone's gonna quibble over this, but it's content, it's quality, and your subscribers are amazing. They're great. They're high quality subscribers, and that's really what you have to look at. Don't just focus on the numbers. I mean, if people are spewing a bunch of fake news, just don't get in the mud. They're amazing folks. Their engagement, the way that they like the videos. Anyway, I hope this puts this to the end. I hope that this controversy is over, and we know who the real YouTube subscriber champ is, and it's you, Nick.
All right, good. So we got a minute 30. All right. Welcome to After Dark. It wouldn't be After Dark if there weren't sound issues. So I suspect that nobody was able to hear that, and I'm going to quickly let me just quickly check the live chat. I'm sure everyone is sitting there saying, "Oh, you're muted." Wouldn't be After Dark if I wouldn't be in time if I wasn't muted. So Thank you all for, yep, all right. Thank you, Titan, if you could just reconfirm that we're back, and that I've got the sound. That intro just is all the settings are screwed up every time that plays. Welcome to After Dark. Thank you all for joining us. And I've been out at Faithless Forum, and it was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to talking about it. We got some people who I met there for the first time. All of a sudden, these 2D images became 3D, and it was a delight. I don't think there was anybody there I did not enjoy meeting and enjoy hanging with, and a lot of great stories. It did throw the show off a bit. We didn't do our Friday hang. We didn't because I was out of town, and we had some pretty serious, unfortunately, breaking news last night that I would like to have covered. I think that's the kind of stuff you guys are used to us covering, and that just wasn't able to do that because I was on a plane, and by the time I landed, got home, and got to where I could produce it, it was a little late for that. So, but I am back, and I don't think it looks right now like we probably won't be able to do a show tomorrow. We're still sort of coming back from that. We did get, and now we're not normally really, in my view, a atheist channel, but we did. That's my roots. That's where I come from, and certainly I've done a lot of atheism and anti-theism work, and I know the people there, and we do a lot of atheism-related material on In Time. So we're going to do other shows on other stuff because we cover all kinds of news and culture and other things. It's not going to be just atheism, but you're going to see a whole bunch of shows on from atheists and atheist-related issues, and also on communication coming up. We've got some great shows planned. We are not going to talk about that tonight. Tonight we're going to talk about Faithless Forum and how much fun it is. Right now we've got 𝐒𝐚𝐥𝐸, who unfortunately wasn't able to make it, and Jim from Atheist Edge, both in the room. Guys, how are you?
What's going on, Nick?
Great
finally meeting you in person.
I know. And I remember when you interviewed me, and that was a while back, but I really enjoyed that interview. That was a lot of fun. But more than that, I just have always loved chatting with you and hanging with you, and you knew everybody there, and you were just, both you and Neil were just looking out for me and making sure that, I was getting to the good spots and doing the fun things, and I really appreciate that. So I just wanted to say now that I got you, thank you. There was never a time you weren't just like, oh, Nick, what do you want to do, where you want to go, and let's make it happen. So I wanted to say thank you.
Well, Courtney mentioned that too, and I see in your little your photo lineup here you got a photo with Courtney. That's really cool too. Yeah, she mentioned the same thing. I don't feel like I know everybody. In fact, Chris Shelton, the ex-Scientologist, I've had on the show a couple times. Apparently he was there. He's been tweeting about it. I did not see him the entire 3 days, and I'm so pissed at myself. I didn't even see him there. I would have totally ran up. And I think there was another one too. It was a big gathering. It was easy to miss some other creators.
Yep. All right. And so now, I now have access to the live chat. So yeah, that was just wouldn't be in time if we didn't start.
Oh, I remember who the other one was.
Yeah.
The guy from Myth Vision.
Derek.
I saw him. Yeah.
He's why I have this on. It's entirely because of him. I'm blaming him. And hopefully I didn't send him a link so he can come in and contradict and clear the record, because we don't want him doing that. But yeah, you were saying.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to meet him either. I saw him across the room during one of the lectures, and I made a point of going to meet him, but people drag you in a different direction and whatnot. But I love his interviews, especially the one with Kenneth Humphreys, the Jesus Never Existed guy. I really like that video too.
Well, so Derek, I love Derek. I think he's really a great guy. And it's funny because I really kind of have Titan to thank for that, because one of the things, and Titan in our community, I think we're actually, I'm gonna be honest, and I've been fawning over Titan a lot recently. That's gonna have to fucking stop. But I'll do it once again and say that because I think he really likes He's never, to the best of my understanding, wanted to be a content creator, but I think he does like being positive in the community, and he likes helping the community, and he likes people, doing good content, and he likes putting people together who work well together. And he's hooked me up with a whole bunch of people. So far, he's never steered me wrong. Once or twice, I've been like, I don't know. It's taken me a little while, but so far, I think I've really warmed up to everybody that he hooked me up with. But he said, here's this Derek guy, and you need to check him out. And so I said, okay, I'll do that. I looked at some of his stuff, and I really liked what he was doing and how he was talking and how he was approaching it, because I have a unique perspective on that. I don't like drama. I don't like going after theists for the sake of making their lives miserable or doing anything like that. And I don't think situations are black and white in that way. And he was great about it. And turned out he had some problems with addiction, some serious problems with addiction. I've certainly had my own struggles with alcohol and a bunch of other things. So I said, would you come on to discuss that? And again, we're not like strictly an atheist show. That's not what we do. But, he came on and talked about that. It was a great show. And then he and I have kind of kept in touch. And then we got to meet, and he was just amazing. But, okay, what you just saw there. So, well, I don't know if I want to give away I don't want to know if I want to give away that video just yet. Yeah, he's the reason I have this on, and that's all I'm going to say about it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Everything else is fake news. Nothing else actually happened. So, but yeah, he's a good guy. And I kept hitting up Xandri going like, all this amazing stuff's happening. We're meeting all these amazing people. And he's just like, I'm driving a truck. Like, yep. I was hoping he could join us.
I hate you a little right now.
Yeah.
There's going to be other Faithless forums, so other opportunities.
Yeah. If Xandri.
Oh, well, you were off.
Yeah. Go on.
Yeah, you were off meeting cool people, and I was trying out being a Russian cat's paw.
Oh, I met a couple of people who were kind of on the right too. And first of all, the fact I was even able to talk to them is due largely to arguments and discussions you had made. But so I was talking to them about a whole bunch of stuff, and they're like, "Yeah, your show sounds interesting. We want to come on, but it's kind of unfortunate when it's only just this left perspective." I was like, we got an ace in the hole, my friend. So don't worry, they've all heard of you now.
Nick, who I am firmly left of center, and I felt like the farthest right person in the room. So who are you talking about specifically?
I didn't even know who this guy was, but he was talking with Steven, Rationality Rules. He was talking with Rationality Rules, and I sat in, and oh my God, he got pissed as hell at me. And first of all, we were talking about how to improve the discourse, because Rationality Rules really wanted to have that discussion. I wanted to have that discussion with him, with Telltale, and with Seth Andrews, because I'd actually asked that question to Seth a while back, and he gave the right answer. And I was just like, I got to have him on to discuss this, because he really cares about it too. So, but we were literally talking about how to improve discourse in general, both between left and the right, and between like atheists and anti-theists, because there's this complete bullshit notion. I'm sorry, and people who are following me on Twitter know, and I like the guy I was getting into this argument with, but it's this complete bullshit fucking notion that, well, the best way to deconvert people is to humiliate them. It's an educational tool. I am a professional educator. I'm certified in 36 states in the union in 3 different topics in 8 different grades. No, it is not a professional or educational tool. In fact, it entrenches people. It does the exact opposite. So I was talking with Woodruff about this, and we're talking about piling on culture, which she's interested in for obvious reasons, and he was great at being willing. We talked for a couple of hours by the time the whole thing was done. It was a lot of fun, but there was this guy that he was talking to about sort of right-wing politics and so I think I just conflated 2 of the people, sorry. But no, yeah, the one that he was talking about was on the left. But what he had said was, Woodruff said, why do you think there's so much polarization in the United States? I said, well, because the right just keeps getting further and further and further, and they're going crazy. And it was a little hard. I mean, I was just like, okay, yeah, you just answered the question by reframing the question. Because the question is, why are they getting further and further? So why is there more extremes? And it's not just the right, it's the left too. So, hey, I'm on the left. I'd be happy to say we're not doing it, but we're fucking doing it. So it's objectively true. And the last, the Rittenhouse thing proves it. So I said, no, the reason is because our presidency is a winner-take-all office. And what that does is, that's why you can't have a third party. All the parties get eventually sucked up into two parties, and then they can only compete essentially with brinksmanship, trying to just out crazy the other party and trying to because it's winner take all. If you lose, you've got nothing. And oh dear Lord, the guy he got pissed, and he was just like, wow, you know nothing about U.S. policies or how the United States works. The U.S. has 3 branches of government. It's not winner take all. They do sharing, and the president has to work with everybody else. They're just like, yeah, once he's elected, he has to. But to elect him is winner take all. There is no second place. You get nothing, and that's a real problem, because that means if you're like a small party and you want your agenda heard, it's not going to get heard. There's no way. You can't even get a little. You can't get you can maybe in Congress. You can get 1 congressman if you're lucky, and then at least you got something. You can't. It's all or nothing with the presidency. So you join whichever party is closest to you and hope you can influence that party, as opposed to the executive office, because if you've lost, you have no control over the executive office. That's why he's just like, you're an idiot, you know nothing about politics, and he got up and ran off. But he was actually not the right wing guy. There was because he was left. But there was another guy. I'm trying to remember. I got to think about this conversation. We ended up talking about guns, and he was like, guns. He's like, I hate gun culture, but you have to have guns in this country to defend yourself, because the bad guys are going to have guns, and nobody's going to tell me not to have guns. I was like, I've heard this argument before. So I was just like, yeah, you got to meet my...
I don't believe...
Yeah, what?
I don't believe you've ever heard that. I don't believe you've ever heard that argument. I think you're making that up.
Yeah, is that what you think is Andring? Is that what you think? I've got the video fucking proof.
Oh, crap.
But no, he made a couple of his Andring's arguments, and I said, you know what, I actually tend to agree with you, much to my fucking chagrin. And I explained sort of how you and I argued, and I was just like, we got to the same point, which is I think we both would love to get rid of all the guns in this country. You made a valid point, which is if we can't get rid of all of them, how are you going to protect the innocent people? And, until you come up with a viable option for that, guns have to be made available. But if you can get rid of all of them, let's do that. And it's just the real question is where do we come on that? But, all right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show two pieces of video here. This is the first one. Here we go. This is Aaron on our first night. Now, Derek does have the full video of this. I started recording a little late. I was just watching it. I saw Derek recording. I was like, why the fuck am I not recording this? And I got to tell you guys about Oz, because Oz, I'll tell you about Oz. I'll tell you about it was a 12-foot python. It wasn't like 32 feet. And I'll tell you how I got this. So I don't know whether to start with the python or the 32, or do we want to start with the black Israeli, whatever they were, that were like, kill Whitey. And I'm not kidding. That's just what they were chanting. But ask Oz. He wanted to talk to him. Let me start with Aaron. And you can actually see the footage right now. So let's, here we go. We are going to play Aaron Ra, our first night. He was talking about, you can actually see it right above me right now. We'll play it with the audio. He was talking about, he had brought this hot, spicy powder he was putting on everything. And then somebody went out and said, okay, try this. It's called Black Death. And it's got it's this kind of pepper. It's got 7 million Scoville units. And he's like, there's no such thing as 7 million Scoville units from a pepper. You can't do that. And they start arguing about it. He goes, okay, fine. And he downs half the thing. 2 minutes later, I feel a hand on my shoulder and a lot of weight. I mean, a lot of weight. This isn't just someone going, hey, how you doing? I look, it's Aaron. He's straddled between me and two people. His head's down. He can barely breathe. And I'm like, this is not good. Now, there happened to be an EMT conference in there, too, so it's just like, well, okay, maybe does one of us want to go somewhere else in the conference and, like, find a dozen EMTs? But he was barely functioning, and I was trying to figure out what was going on, and I, said, oh, he downed half that stuff. It took a little while before he could, before he regained functioning, but here he is. On what happened, he's talking again. And okay, we'll play this.
Read all the goddamn ingredients. Pure laboratory extracted capsaicin. That's cheating. Why don't you just give me some jet fuel? God damn.
And it's the second ingredient on the ingredients list after the Reaper peppers.
I just got one thing to say. Don't drink this. This is hot. God damn. Yeah.
Okay, now, so he's fine, right? We're like, okay, he's good, he's fine. I go back 2 minutes later. I check in on him. He downs the rest of the bottle. I shit you not. Just like after saying, "Don't drink this; it's jet fuel." He downs the rest of the bottle. Yeah, but that's okay. He and I were eating Reuben's the next day, and I tried his powder. It was actually good stuff. It was really good stuff. But Neil and I all went out to lunch, and that was. I'll tell you that story later. But $5. Sinister Porpoise, $5. I think Python is the best language to start with if Scratch is unavailable. Also, who wants to be an educator? Tell me about it. I said, okay, I could. Well, that's why this is an educational program, right? I was like, I could teach high school or I could do this. And by the way, I loved teaching high school and I love the students. And I got one of my favorite. Oh, I know. It's on the other board. When one of my students graduated college, he sent me a nice handwritten note about, he wouldn't have gotten into college and done what he was doing if it wasn't. So, you don't get notes like that as a YouTuber, but on the flip side, you don't have to deal with administrations. The parents I was fine with, too. It was the school administration that they didn't like the fact that I was fine with the parents, actually, too, to be quite honest with you. Telltale, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. KC8 Randy, thank you so much. Okay, yeah, I am. I will explain this in a minute because this is a crazy one. So, and then now, so I was with Oz. This was like right after this incident. I was with Oz, and there was this chanting outside, and Neil went out for a cig, and I just joined him for a little bit, and I was like, oh, Neil, what is that? He goes, oh, that's Black Hebrew Nationalists, which I had never even heard of. I had no idea what a Black Hebrew Nationalist is, but and they started with the white man is the reason for all the problems in this country, down with the white man, and then it was more like we need to start killing, and I was just like, do they know we're here? I was like, no, and they're facing the other way. And we're like, we concluded that they probably had no idea that we were there. We were going to keep it that way. They're just over the thing. So I go back in, and Oz is like, did you hear that? I said, yeah. And he's like, I'm getting my gear. I was like, what do you mean you're getting your gear? Goes, I'm going to talk to them, man. I'm going to do some street epistemology on them. I was like, you're going to ask them about God? Like, well, whatever we talk about is what we talk about. I'm getting my gear. I was like, okay, Oz, I'm gonna go ahead and recommend that you not do that. And he's like, oh, fuck that, Nick, I'm going. So I was just like, okay, well, if you are gonna go, you mind if I record it? He's just like, no, go ahead. He's like, you can come right out. I was like, no, I'm gonna record it from 10 feet back. I'm gonna be way over there, asshole. So Jason's here. Yeah. So, and guys, by the way, you don't have to have attended the Faithless for Jason if you want to drop in, if anybody else wants to come in. So, I mean, I'm hoping we can get a few, Neil's still over there. Neil's hanging out, and he's talking to people. How often is he going to be in the U.S.? So, I don't know that he's going to come in, but I hit a few other people. I did hit Derek, so hopefully he'll come in. So, anyways, I don't want to dominate, Jim. So, what do you think was your favorite part, Jim?
No, I'm enjoying hearing you. With regard to Oz, though, that's the first time I had met him in person, and for those watching right now, let me assure you, he's just as crazy and more so in real life. I love that guy; he's awesome. Let's see. Let me go backwards. 7 million. There absolutely is. I was a Marine Corps martial arts instructor. There, it goes up to the numerous million Scoville heat units of oleo resin castate. So that is a thing, and it doesn't have to be made in a laboratory. It could be hybridized in a greenhouse. You were talking about. See, I think I was already off. I was already back to Dallas by the time you guys went and did all that, I believe. But there was a time earlier. Aaron was at one of our atheist and Christian book clubs, and we went to one of those 80s style stand-up arcade slash cider bars once. And then 4:30 in the morning, he said, "Let's go to the Indian food restaurant." I was like, "Is it open?" It will be for me. Yes, he came. because it's R and Raw, he can make a phone call and open up an Indian food restaurant at 4:30 in the morning. I guess we're of course, the only ones there. It was a giant table, and he and Lalandra ordered something that wasn't on the menu. And I guess they had ordered it before because they were like, okay, I could see the chefs in the back, the cooks. They were like, oh, here we go again. And they were putting on double masks. This is before the pandemic, right?
Oh, my God.
The whole place. Shelley Siegel was there. She's a singer. We know her, right? She had to step outside because she said that it was killing us while they were cooking it. She had to step outside and get fresh air because she said something about how oleoresin can affect her vocal cords, and that's her bread and butter. Yeah, that I did not dare to even try to take a bite. He offered anyone that wanted to try to take a bite, but yeah, brutal.
First night, Oz is drinking scotch, drops the glass, and just shatters on the ground. And I was like, oh, fuck Oz, I can't take you anywhere. So they come, like, oh, we're gonna help you clean it up. He goes, yeah, that guy did it. They just point straight to me. I was like, you fucking yeah. It was yeah, it was oh dear Lord. It was just, and then he just kept going all night, and then the next day he's like, why'd you drop that fucking glass? And I was just like, yeah, well, I said, I saw you. I said, Jesus is real, and there goes the glass. Yeah, Jesus is a myth. I was like, fight me, boy. So
what else? Oh, it was cool to see Stephen Woodford on the panel. I know there had been some history, and it was great to see him up there. And I enjoyed that. I like him too. I like everyone there. And hats off to Thomas and all the rest of the crew that put that. I've been to all three. That was by far the biggest. It was the bigger venue. It didn't look like as many as the second one, but the first two were held in a children's museum venue. It was a much smaller conference room, so everyone was so spread out. But it was definitely more attendees this time. It's growing. So many moving parts, and I saw times when Thomas was just. He was working, yeah, and they knocked it out of the park.
Well, and actually, I gotta tell you a story about Thomas. I gotta tell you because this is insane. Because Thomas is this thin, lanky guy, right? So, we gotta let this Xandering in a minute. But I'm gonna tell this other story because it's time. So I'm gonna talk about how I got this. It was last night, and everybody wanted to go out and get some drinks, go hit the bar, so on and so forth. So. I'm like, okay, cool, but I can't drink anymore. Nerve condition, pain, cannot drink. And when I could drink, I was a little fond of it. So I was just like, not a good idea anyway. And I didn't usually drink at bars. So I said, I'm not going to really go. And Derek goes, Nick, you're coming. I was like, no, I really goes, Nick. He goes, I'm not going to drink. So why don't you come join me? We'll be together. We'll hang. You'll keep an eye on me. I said, no, I don't really. But he busts my balls. Finally, he gets me to come along. So we go out into the street, and first of all, and you're going to see this picture of it because people didn't believe me. There was a 12-foot python that they had somebody who had and was just dangling on people as they were coming by, and I go, okay, there's the python, and the black Hebrew nationalists or the Hebrew Israel, we passed them. I was like, okay, I'm going to try not to get like lost in a corner, but we get to a bar, and they've got a bull, a mechanical bull, and that was me eating the pastrami with Aaron, and after everyone had left, Aaron, Neil, and I did lunch, and it was really good. But okay, so this is the thing. I'm gonna play it with the sound. It is me. I did ride the bull, and I wouldn't have if he hadn't got me out there. Once he's out there, he does it. Everyone does it. I think so. Derek goes first. Now you've seen Derek. He's built like a fucking tank. So everyone thinks he's gonna last forever. He does maybe 30 seconds. Poof, he's gone. He's like, oh, that's hard as fuck. He's like, Nick, here's. Let me give you some tips. He's like, this is what I was. But so I go, and then this is me. I'm gonna share. So this is me doing the mechanical bull here. Well, there's Anthony Magnavasco, it was nice to finally meet him in person because our chats were just awesome. All right, so yeah, well, okay, so Porpoise has talked about Ehlers-Danlos. I have Ehlers-Danlos. It is a joint condition. That's why I have this. As I came on, I used to do martial arts, used to do rock climbing, and I'm sitting there going like, okay, I need to. This isn't going to be about strength. This is going to be, about trying to really go with the bull, trying to make sure, and also just try to take the momentum from one way to another, and be flexible so that I'm just not thrown off. But I instantly grabbed it with my left hand, and I was just like, ugh, I should probably do my right because my right is much, much stronger. And I said, well, I can use my right as a backup, but if my instincts are to use the left hand because I'm actually left side dominant, do that. Bad idea. Here I am, mechanical bull. Oh, and that's it. And there was no sound on this, so there I go. Let's do that one. Yeah. Hey, you don't have to laugh that much, Jim. Jesus. All right, so let's do. Here you go. We'll have the sound. Me, mechanical bull. Yep, there we go. The joint gave. It was so worth it. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, so that's why I'm now wearing this for at least a little while. So there you go. Either of you guys ever do one of those?
Yes, once, and you lasted longer than me. I had a few cocktails in me at a country and western bar. I was trying to impress a girl, and it was literally about 15 seconds, and it threw me forward, and that horn that you grab onto the saddle, it just hard grazed my taint and my butthole, and I was bruised for like weeks, man. I couldn't walk right.
So now all I know is Andring's done. Andring, have you done it on the real thing out of curiosity?
Yes.
I knew the answer to that was going to be yes. I knew it. Oh dear Lord!
But on the real thing, you only got to make it 8 seconds. So on the mechanical bulls, you can go for as long as you can go, and then it gets to be a fun contest to see if the operator can actually throw you off. So I'd never intended on ever riding a mechanical bull, and the wife finally talked me into it. She really, really, really wanted to see, and I thought very long and hard about just tanking like 1 second after it starts. Like as soon as it moves, just kind of fall off to the side. But no, she's like, no, I really want to see, because I used to train horses. That's how my wife and I met. So she was like, no, she's seen what I can do on a horse that's trying to kill you. So she's like, I want to see what you can do on a mechanical horse or on a mechanical bull. It's like, okay, well, this may get boring after a while, depending upon what levels they have, how responsive their mechanical bull is. Some of them are so responsive they can throw you off literally in a few seconds. There's just nothing you can do. It's physics. That bull can move enough and far enough and fast enough that there's no possible way for you to stay on it. Whereas natural animals can't move like that because they have their own mass to move as well. So it really depends upon the setup that they have. Some of them that are a lot more mild, you can sit up there for hours, and then there's some of them that are a lot more extreme where they could throw you halfway across the room if they wanted to.
I was well, and I told Derek later. I was just like, you know what? Thank you for making me do this. It's like, because he did make me do the bull thing. That one I did on my own, but I would have been there if. And everybody did this. Oh, and this was the story. Do you want to know who beat us all? Thomas. Tom did. The big lanky guy. He kicked all of our asses. He was on there for like 45 seconds, and it was nothing. He comes down, we're like, how the fuck did you do that? So Thomas Westbrook, who organized the whole thing, kicked all of our asses on that bull. Oh.
Yeah, strength to weight ratio is really important. Take a look at champion bull riders. They're not generally very tall, and they're pretty lanky. I mean, there's obviously some exceptions, but the less mass that you have to try and move, the easier it is to keep your mass centered over a bull. So, yeah, strength to weight ratio is really important.
Yeah, that was the funny thing too. Was I didn't have like drinks, so I didn't have an excuse. Like, wow, you must have drunk a lot to go do that. I was like, yeah, I was smashed out of my skull. Yeah, that's why I did it. So I don't have the alcohol as an excuse for doing stupid shit no more. Now it's just like, no, I was just being stupid. All right, so that was good. Sorry, I'm sorry, dude. I think you. I don't remember. You must have been. Yeah, you were gone. You were gone by that point. I was like, because I would have loved to. I would have loved to see you on that thing, Jim.
Oh man, I need to drop 50 pounds, get back in fighting weight before I even consider something like that.
Yeah. You want to see
my? Yeah, do it for fun.
Yeah, yeah. You've seen my weight, Jim. You've seen my weight. Give me a fucking break.
Well, like as Andrew was saying, I mean, when I was active duty, the ones who can hump a ruck, carry a backpack on a forced march, Navy SEALs, Force Recon, MARSOC, they're not the big buff, huge brick shit houses. They're the wiry, lanky, the ones that can carry a load for long stretches, 25 miles at a pop, and the best ones clearing rooms and kicking in doors are all the Thomas Westbrook type builds.
Yeah, the Navy Times did an article on some of the stats for BUDS training. They're like, the average graduate of BUDS training is 5'8". That's like, that seems a little short. I mean, you always think of SEALs as these big honking dudes, and they're really not. Usually, I mean, I did see a big honking SEAL, but not on average.
No.
Was there anything, Nick, that you didn't get a chance to do, or someone you didn't get a chance to meet when you were there?
Oh, speaking of, yeah, so Atheist Jr. was there, and I bumped into Atheist Jr. a lot on Amy Newman and around Oz's place, and I wanted to catch up with Atheist Jr. Didn't get a chance to do that, but I think Atheist Jr. just broke 2,000 subs, if I recall. So it was like everybody was all thrilled, and Atheist Jr. was streaming. So I missed out on that, and there was actually one other, and my brain's really still playing catch up. So I'm it's the usual memory problems too, right? So I can't. I do remember there was one other. I mean, in terms of look, I'd have been happy if I had accomplished half the things that I wanted to do. I was really psyched to meet Anthony Magnavasco because our conversation with him was, I thought, bordering on extraordinary. We had him on, and I told him ahead of time that, we were all atheists and we all sort of kind of support that agenda, but that there were people who had questions about what he was doing and how he was doing it, and we were going to ask those questions. And he said, yeah, okay, great. And I think we did miss one or two opportunities. And I know some people said, you could have asked this question, that we didn't hit. So I feel bad about that. But every question that we did ask, and we asked some hard ones, and every now and then it's just like, God, that's a really good question. Let me think about that. And I just sat there and thought about it for 5 minutes, and I was just like, okay. This is really good. And so, and he and I have spoken a bit since that interview, but we got there, and he was just like, when I showed up, he's like, I know you. I was just like, Nick Suter in time. He goes, you and the other guy, the professor. I was like, yeah, Mouty. He's like, and I had on, I forget the name of the other guy. He's just like, yeah. I said, yeah. He goes, that. And he just said that he had really liked the interview, and he was talking about what he liked about that interview. And I was like, you know what? That's what I liked about the interview, too. And it's just like, yeah, he said, you really asked some questions. And he admitted there were a couple he ended up having no good answer for. And he's just like, you know what? That's a criticism. He goes, I don't have an answer for. And I was just like, okay, you know what? It takes some balls to admit that, and let's move on. So we did that, but he was just like, yeah. I go, it was nice. It was nice to hear him say that. It was also nice to really spend time with Aaron and spend time with Matt. So those were the biggies. If I had done half of what I had done, this would have been a success. I think I missed out on one or two things that I kind of wanted to do, and now I enjoyed it so much. I kind of forgot what it was that I think there was maybe somebody that I wanted to. I did want to Telltale, who was just in the I was so impressed with how he handled what had happened back with his daughter, and I'm not going to talk about that right now, but we had actually covered that when it happened, and it was one of those things. And I saw his daughter speak, and she was absolutely amazing at the conference. And I have two kids, and there are times when they knock it out of the park too, and I could not be more proud. and I know how he
you
must
said
have been.
Anthony's daughter spoke?
No,
Was that Friday?
No, it was Telltale. Owens.
Oh, Telltale. Okay.
His daughter spoke about what she went through, and that was, I think, actually, of all the things that I saw, that for me was the highlight of it, because that was also too. That was what they were seeing was hatred, and as close a thing to evil as I've ever seen, and. Did they beat it? Did they not? That really depends on how you look at it. They were planning on leaving anyway, but they had to leave ahead of time. The U.S., federal agencies didn't support them in the way they should have. I know what Xander is going to say next, so I'm going to keep going until he pops in on them defending themselves. But it was... Anyways, it was, but it was, there was how to have courage in the face of really evil shit. So he was in the live chat a minute ago. I don't know if he's still around, but I wanted to spend more time getting to know him. Meeting Tom and hanging out with Tom for any length of time was not on my agenda. Not because I didn't like the guy or anything like that, but I really didn't know him. And he and I bumped into each other on Twitter on a couple of times, and I've spoken to him before about Faithless Forum and other events. But I was just like, okay, yeah, he's the organizer. I'm not gonna. But I had a good time hanging out with him too. So I didn't know. I'm sure there's something that I missed other than not really getting a chance to meet Owen. Other than that, I think I really got everything. How about you? Was you okay? So you wanted to meet. And I know you wanted to do some streams too, so you wanted to meet
I
Derek.
forget his name from Myth Vision.
Derek, yeah. You wanted to meet Derek.
Yeah, and then Chris Shelton. Yep. I really enjoyed the conversations we've had online and live shows, but I didn't even know he was there until I was already home and he was tweeting about it. I was like, no, I posted something like, how did I not bump into you? Are you part chameleon? It's just, it was a big conference, to be fair, and we are content creators, so we kind of get in there and listen to the talks and the lectures like 90%, but we still got to do our networking too, which is, oh my gosh, if you are a new content creator, any size, this will benefit in that respect as well, because you can network your ass off and you will have a full dance card for months to come.
Oh, and I met Marie, which was interesting because Marie is in the live chat on In Time. She's in the live chat on Tang. She's in almost every live chat I've ever been in. I think she's in. So I met her, and it was funny because at first I was like, because she's not a content creator, but she attends all of us, and so she was there and she was explaining she was explaining what was I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. She was explaining how she went to all these channels and she attended. She's on In Time all the time, and I still couldn't because I had never seen the face and the name wasn't. I mean, I don't associate the names necessarily because the names are, Holy Kool-Aid. They're Telltale. They're 604. They're whatever they are, and it's just like I don't know for some reason. So here's somebody, their real name. They're in the live chat all the time, and I was just like, oh, and I felt bad. And then once I clicked, I was like, yeah, of course I know who you are. But that one was unexpected. And then there was a couple of other ones. Speedy was hilarious because Speedy came up to me and said, yeah, I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. And I was just like, oh, okay, and I know who he is, and he and Oz had gotten into a little bit of a scrape at Newman's, and I remember that. It was actually over game theory, and so I was just like, yeah, I remember you. And he was a sweetheart of a guy. He was a real sweetheart of a guy, but he wanted to ask some philosophical stuff, and it's just like, I love all your old work, and I was just like, my old work? It's just like I don't know what old work you're. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know where this is going. You know exactly where this is going. Because I'm sitting there going like, oh, my. Yeah, you know.
Tread carefully, Nick.
Yeah, I will. Well, there are more stories there too, but I'm not going to get into them. But because there was some funny shit. There was some really funny shit that I probably just can't get into. But anyways, it's old work. I said, what old work? And I said, ask a philosopher. I was like, oh my God. It's like I forget that I had done that, but that was, especially when Ozzy was there too. I really loved it, and if I hadn't had that experience on Ask a Philosopher, I wouldn't have done anything. And for anything else aside, the one thing I will say is that it was that show and the faith in me to do that show that gave me the faith to go on and do my own stuff. So, I am indebted to that, and it was awesome. But it was funny because he's wanted to ask me all the way since Ask a Philosopher. And I was just like, oh, okay, what's that? He was doing his own ontology for science, and we got to talk about shop and what was going on with his show, because he was streaming every day and this and that. I was like, whoa, don't do that. No, bad idea. Let's talk. And it was just so much fun. So that one was weird. And it was just weird that my old content, I was just like, what are you talking? Oh, yeah, that is. It seems like a different life. I mean, that was a whole nother. I was just like, the number of people who recognized me. I got recognized more for my older content than I did for my newer content, which is just kind of funny. But yeah. So that was.
There was two speakers there. Oh, Zara K's speech. Gosh, damn, that might have been my favorite one. And I had never met her either. That was she is just incredible. And now Arden wasn't there. She was at a different after party. We hit a different after party and then came back to the Faithless Forum one. And I found her amazing as well. And 2 weeks ago, I didn't even know she existed. And she's really cool. It's just everyone there was just awesome.
I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Telltale said something. I did want to follow up on this because I don't know if you saw Telltale and his daughter speaking. And I couldn't see the whole thing because I had another obligation, so I stayed as long as I could, and I was still late. But when his daughter was talking, somebody had said, was there anything you would change about how you handled it? And without a lick of it, she's just like, no. No, just like everything the same. And so he just said that, I appreciate it. It was very stressful, but we made it through. I would do it again. And so, yeah, she said she wouldn't change anything. And that was one of just sort of the most headstrong. And I was just like, oh, fuck. I was just like, this is, you don't see that kind of inspiration, I think, very often. And that was, I think, in terms of things that pleased me the most out of that. Listen, I loved hanging with Dillahunty. We went to his house. We were hanging there we were supposed to hang there for like an hour. We did 2, and we easily could have done 4. We would have spent the night if we had got going. But I think the one that just kind of warmed my heart the most was seeing Owens' daughter talking about wouldn't and she was just. She interrupted her dad once or twice, but she did it saliently. She did it well. She's like, "Oh no, let me take this." She just takes it and she runs with it. She hits it out of the park. I was like, "Ooh, he's got competition." Oh, if she becomes a YouTuber, he's got a problem on his hands. Oh dear Lord. Anyway, I apologize. So let me cut you off. Sorry, I did cut you off. You see, this is where my brain's at. Let me hand it back to you. What were you? So you had a really good time.
Oh, I was done. But
Yeah.
Of course, Seth Andrews. Every time I get a chance to hear, I mean, it's quality, just pure quality. And you were talking about Anthony. The first time I ever met him was at a in-person formal debate between Michael Shermer and John Mark Reynolds in Fort Worth, and it was after the Q&A, and I was in line I had just bought a street epistemology, something. It was a book. I forget it. So I was waiting in line just to say hello to him and have him sign something. And he saw me. I have no idea he even knew I existed. He saw me halfway in line, and he stopped talking to whoever he was talking to and ran over to me and gave me a big hug and didn't know my name. He just, Atheist Edge. And that was such a confidence boost. And that was like the first year of YouTubing. And I was like, holy shit, Anthony Magnabosco knows I exist. And that guy, he's a class act. If him and Emmett Mitt were to have a love child, that would be like a perfect YouTuber. I mean, he's so easy to talk to.
I don't want to know where you got that from, but he and Seth Andrews, who of the people who, and let's not do the love child thing, Jim. That's enough of that. Thank you. And let's not. How much of that game? So you played chess with Dillahunty, and you won, which was
okay. I was only going to tell you that in confidence because I promised Matt I wouldn't brag that I crushed his ass twice at chess.
Oh shit! Oh, sorry. Yeah, you got your ass handed to you. Listen though.
Oh, okay.
Listen, you were like, oh, I'm losing, man, I'm losing. I was like, dude, get your head back in the fucking game, and then you lose a piece, like, oh, I'm dead.
The only
like,
reason I won the second one is, yes, his time ran out on the second one. He had me down. I mean, he was 2 moves away from mating me. Mating me. Here I go again.
Yeah, Native Atheist, that dude from Myth Vision, he's the one I owe this to. So tell him he broke my wrist. Yeah, no, that was fun. Listen,
phrases you never.
What?
Oh, I said phrases you have to utter that you only utter in very specific groups. He was 2 moves away from mating me. That seems like a.
So, if Math Pig is watching this, he always goes through my old archived footage and splices together out of context shit like that. So if Math Pig is watching, he's got a bounty to deal with now.
2000 Mice does that. He doesn't do that for me per se, but he does that for Neil, and I'm on Neil's a lot. So there's anything I've ever said that could be taken. 2000 Mice has it. And 2000 Mice was hitting me up during the thing. So could you get these pictures of these people doing these things? It's like, fuck you, do your own trolling. Yes. Listen. I was thrilled I did as well as I did against Dillahunty because I haven't played chess in at least. I've got a chessboard right over there. I've got a glass chessboard that's really nice. I used to love chess. I was never like really serious about it, but I at least played regularly, and but I haven't played in years. And Dillahunty and I played. Now he started. Was he down a rook or was he down
He played you at bishop odds, so he took a bishop off the board before you guys started. I was trying to get him to go at rook odds and take a rook off, but he's like, he didn't want to give up that much power.
Well, listen, the bishop. And I almost had him once or twice, and I blew it, but it was a good game, and we were down to maybe 3 or 4 pieces each. So I was thrilled I did that well against Dillahunty. And it was, and he was great. He was just a lot of fun, and he was a really nice guy to hang with. And then Arden.
Yeah. There's gonna be in the live chat or those watching right now that are just gonna be wondering. So we might as well address the 400-pound gorilla. And just touch on it briefly. I'm not a drama merchant. I'm not a drama channel. I'm not going to entertain drama.
No, you don't talk about. I know the thing with Arden talking about the helmet.
Let me just say this. I'll speak in generalities, Nick. I'll speak in generalities.
No, I don't even want to speak in generalities. Talking about Matt wearing the helmet in the bedroom. He showed us that studio, and that he's going to wear the helmet, and she's going to. So that's what he said. That's what he said, and I'm just like, you know what?
He did.
We don't. I didn't need the image. I swear to God, that's what he said. So, Sunday's here. Good to see you, Sunday. Thank you for coming by. So, anyways, but what was the other one? And then Arden, student Dr. Ben, and Ape. What is it? We're all playing that game. And it's like, okay, so I've got, they got the cards and like, okay, this card is a lesbian wearing an American flag. This is, and they're like, I'm like, what the fuck game are you playing? And they're playing that while I'm trying to play Matt Dillahunty in fucking chess. And he's like razor focused in on me. And as you know, I do a move and then I hear well, it depends on if you want to be a top or a bottom. Really depends on whether or not you take, tequila and do the, how much hot sauce is going to be involved. It's like, what the fuck? They're doing this like 2 feet away from me, and I'm like, and admittedly, I will admit, my attention wandered. I was just like, okay, I really want to. I started playing the game afterwards. I was like, it's an interesting game. So, all right, now let me
who is that content creator? Michael something. He runs I think he does Dungeons and Dragons. Pen and paper board games. But he's an atheist. He doesn't really talk about it much on his channel. What was his name? I forget. He was really cool too.
Yeah, they were all cool. There was, other than the one guy. And President Sunday could appreciate this because it's funny that he just got. So there was this one guy who Stephen had said, why is there so much political division in the U.S. and why is it getting worse? And the guy was like, well, it's because the Republicans keep doing all these terrible things. They're gaslighting people and they're making things worse, and I was just like, he's restated the question. The question is, why are they making it worse? It's like, well, they're making it worse. It's not just them, but at any rate. So I said, no, the reason it's worse is there's a fault in the U.S. Constitution and how we built our country, and it's that the president is a winner-take-all, or the executive branch is a winner-take-all branch of government. That's the problem. So compromise has to be done before voting. It can't. Now the president may have to compromise with, and so on and so forth. But in terms of getting your president into power and who controls the executive branch, it's always a clean sweep. So smaller parties can't contend if they want their agenda to be heard at all. It's not like in Congress where you could maybe get one senator in somewhere, or a parliamentary system. What you end up having to do is get consumed by the larger party and try to get that party to move. This means you will eventually be down to two parties, and only two parties, and then they will win. First of all, they're going to be competing for the middle 20 because there's 40% in one party, 40% in another party, and the middle 20 is in play. But they will also engage in brinksmanship because they know if they lose everything when it comes to the presidency. And the presidency isn't the only thing in power. But anyways, so I just said this, and it's not a very difficult thesis, and the guy was just like, oh my God, there's something called the balance of power, or checks and balances, and there are three branches of government. You have no idea what you're talking about, and the guy runs off. That was the worst experience I had at the whole thing. And Stephen was there. He goes, wow. It's like, that guy's going to talk about unreasonable conversations. And I saw him in the back snickering every now and then. And, I'd see him snickering, and boy, like they'd see me come in and tell people apparently to tell people how stupid I am because I somehow think that, the president, I don't know what he thought I was actually trying to argue, but I got some idea. It doesn't matter. That was it. That was the worst experience I had there. And I met people who I had, listen, there's drama everywhere, like you had said earlier. And I met people, some of them I'd heard bad things about, some of them I'd heard good things about. Nobody was bad that I saw. Nobody was mean. Nobody was bitchy. Nobody was, and usually at these things, you'll find somebody who gets drunk and does something stupid. No, I didn't, if that happened, I didn't see it. So it was really a lot of fun, and it was nice to meet everybody and meet them on their own terms too, because again, like there is some drama. I hadn't heard much, and I still haven't heard much, and it's probably a good idea that I don't hear much, but none of the drama was something that I saw played out with anybody. So it's sad. It's human endeavors, and everybody fucking does this. But I had a great time. So I don't know what about you? Was there anything that you found? What was the more disappointing moments? We've been talking about the awesome moments. Was there something that you found that was like disappointing and that didn't meet your expectations?
I talked to Thomas about it a little bit. A few of the participants, I think they were giving constructive criticism, but it was, to me, it felt like nitpicking, and they're running around trying to make this happen, right? And not everything is going to be just perfect. Something's not going to be laid out on a table, or there's something wrong with it's minor glitches, like with the check-in process to the event, just all very minor stuff. And I think a couple people were maybe nitpicking a little much. I mean, we got to give them some credit. They pulled it off, and you'd be hard pressed to try to do the same if you put on something of that magnitude.
I will. Okay. Some of the choices for songs in karaoke, that I object to. That actually probably bordered on crimes against humanity.
Oh God. Yeah. They need to stick to YouTubing, most of them. Oh, that was horrible.
Yeah.
That's karaoke though.
And then when Neil did it though, Neil picked a song from a Canadian band nobody had ever heard of. Nobody thought they could get it up on the machine because you got to get the prompter there. And he found it. Holy smoke. You know what? I've got that. It's on my phone. I could probably put it in. If you guys want to hear it, I mean, it's going to be like 3 or 4 minutes of Neil singing, but I thought he did awesome. So if you guys want to, let's put it in the live chat. Let me know, and I can probably upload it to the and get it into the interface if you guys are interested. It was good. Neil used to. I think he was in a band. I know he was a bouncer, and I know he popped the guy's eye out. He likes to talk about that all the time. Neil. No, he doesn't. He doesn't like to talk about that at all, actually. He really doesn't like to talk about that, but because everyone's like, wait, you did what? They always ask him, and he's such a sweetheart and such a really good guy. You could tell he still feels guilty. He feels really guilty about the fact that he was like, and he was left with no choice, if I remember the story. But yeah. All right, so, yeah. I did see, Thomas was running around like a man with his head cut off, or a chicken with his head cut off just the whole fucking time. And he seemed pretty on it, that I could tell all the time. They were recording the things, and I asked him if they were gonna make the recordings available for people who tended, because I've been to a lot of conferences. I've done a lot of writers' conferences. I've been a speaker at some of the writers' conferences. Most of the time, I'm just attending. I've had agents that represent me attend, and I like to go hang out with them. They're good at schmoozing, too. And I've attended some game conferences. I used to have my own small little independent gaming company, and I did a talk at the X Game Expo in San Jose or something on independent game development. So I've been to a lot of these. And what I've realized is I almost never attend the talks. And the reason is usually you can get them on recording or tape later. You can go see them anytime you want to. There's very few I ever really end up attending. I have to be really pretty interested to attend them. So you can usually get them later. What you can't do is meet the people and talk to the people. Okay, there you go. You're not going to get another opportunity to do that. So, and most of whatever they're talking about, usually you can pick up on YouTube if you want to, or by some other means. You cannot. Oh, he's still in the band. Okay, so he's okay. It was hilarious. He was good. So, and he got into it. He really got into it. So anyways, so that's it. So I spent most of the time schmoozing and meeting with people. And like I said, everybody was so really nice. It was really fun. Were you there for him singing?
I hesitate to say this.
Say it.
Yeah, sure. I was gonna say I'm gonna reach out to 𝐍𝐢𝐜𝐴. She mentioned the World Hijab Day on February 1st. Now that I'm saying it publicly, someone's going to try to scoop me, I think. Don't even think about, well, no. If someone gets her, that's fine. But I'd like to get her on like right before that or on the day of. That'd be really cool to talk about that. That was my favorite talk, was the 𝐍𝐢𝐜𝐴 one. And then right afterwards, they did a little game where halal or haram. And I got maybe two of them right. I didn't know any of those.
Oh, I got most of them right. I got most of them right, but the reason was because I realized the only reason they're going to be doing this is if the answers are shocking, if the answers aren't what you'd think they'd be. So I made a guess, flipped my guess, and that was the one I went for, and I got them right almost all the time.
That's brilliant. Now Thomas did one on Bible trivia. It was a hit the button one. They had a panel of 4 people up there. Now it was the exact reverse situation. I got about 3 wrong on that one. The really obscure ones even I was getting right. So, but I need to work on my Quran.
I was jealous of one thing, and I was just like, "Oh, guys, you have a professional in the room." They were looking for somebody. They were missing. They were down one person for one of the panels, and I volunteered. But at this point, Thomas at this point knew who I was, but only knew of me sort of for my older work, speaking of. So he was just like, yeah, we don't need you on the panel. I was just like, and Neil was like, no, he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. But all that aside, they had a panel, and somebody was going to write down something. Everybody wrote down something interesting that happened to them. And then they were going to, everybody was going to say that they were going to say what the thing was, one person's thing, and everybody was going to claim it happened to them. And then they would, through process of elimination, you'd get to ask questions, and they would have to defend that they were the actual ones who had the incident happen. And in the end, you'd figure out if people could guess who actually had it happen. I've played this before. I have never lost at this, not even remote. I'm a fucking writer. I know how to make shit up that didn't, and I was just doing it in my head. I was just like, I wish I was there, man. I was just like, so somebody had done this, I nearly got hit by an army truck. And I was just like, okay, who was that? And they're asking them questions. They're coming out. I was like, oh, this is my jam. This is my jam, man. Let me go up there. I'll make up shit. You'll have no idea. But I didn't get to do it. But that was fun to watch too. Neil was on that one. Neil and Aaron were both.
The sad part of that was I did a limited series way back called "You Wouldn't Believe," and I would have it was a collab. I had YouTubers from and Neil, Aaron, they all contributed to it, and that story was one of them. I was raised on a houseboat in Alaska, and I took a dump off the side, and fish ate it. And that whole one, if you remember that one,
I do. Yeah.
Whoever that was actually did it on my show like 2 years ago. So I was so sure it was Aaron, and I forgot it was actually Neil because both of them had contributed to my series.
That was more information about Neil than I needed to know, to be quite honest. But,
exactly.
Thank you for that, Neil. So I think though, okay, so I've got my favorites, right? I've got all my favorites. I've already talked about one of my favorite things to just watch, and that was Telltale's thing. That was one of my favorite ones, I think, to just watch and just sit back and listen, not even trying to participate, not even trying to just absorb. In terms of the nicest people, the ones where you just sit there and you can bask in how magnanimous they are. Absolutely, Seth Andrews, Anthony Magnolosco, which, by the way, no surprise there. Nobody's fucking surprised. But that was just so much. But in terms of people who just like kept an eye out for me, Derek's definitely high on that list because he made me go out, and it was just so much fun to hang out with him. But the top two would have to be you and Neil. And we're just like, what you doing, Nick? Are you doing something that you're having fun with? If not, you want to come with me? Let's go do this. Let's do. And then when you took me to Matt's house, and even before that, I was like, oh, I did the dinner. You're like, no, go do the dinner, and then we'll go. And then we go. We played it by ear, but as long as everyone was having fun. So, you took care of me, man, which I really appreciate. So did
that's
Neil.
Right.
It was so. Yeah, you
did the VIP awesome. Dinner. How did that go?
That went awesome. I did bail on it, before it was done, just because I really also wanted to hit Matt's. But Neil was there, and Neil and I were eating together, and then and the VIP lunch was really nice too, because I did do that with Derek. Derek and his wife. And I got to meet his wife. His wife was really nice. His wife was awesome. So no, that went great. The food was really good, and we were just like, oh my god, this is the best food. But and I should play maybe the Aaron Ra bit again. So I think I'll do, because we probably completely recycled the audience. So I will do a couple more videos that we've already done, and then I don't know, we'll probably start to wrap it up. But yeah, that was it. I was bummed that. So I really wanted to meet Xandring. I was hoping that he'd be able to go there, and I was just like, look, maybe he can hang out in the lobby, and we can hang together. And I actually I do this whenever I go to a conference. Actually, there are a couple of areas in which I splurge, and I'm just like, I'm not even going to do a conference if I can't splurge in these areas. And one of them is usually get a large room, sometimes with 2 beds. I'm just like, you never know, like you just have no idea what's going to happen. And this one had like a fold up bed, so we could turn it into like a conference thing. So it's like, if everybody just showed up, I was just like, we're going to be gold. So it's just, now Xandring takes his bed wherever he goes, so he's not going to need it. But nonetheless, it's just one of those things that yeah, we're going to have to bring you along next time, Xandring.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of fun. I'd like to have gone. I was kind of sad that I couldn't get out of here, but didn't have loads weren't lining up right, and that just didn't work out.
I will say one thing, and this is, I don't want to like end on a downer or anything, and maybe this is a cautionary tale for people. I did ask about next year, and everybody seemed very wishy-washy on next year. Now, I think at least in part, they didn't make as much money as they'd like to. COVID, a lot of people weren't able to come. They did go to this bigger venue, cost more money, and I think so. I think there were difficulties. I think COVID really, really hit them hard. So I don't know if they're going to do next year. I hope they do. But everybody I talked to seemed to, and I didn't talk to really probably one of the only ones that counts, which would be Thomas. So I didn't get his views, but it certainly seemed to me like they were all like, next year is very uncertain, which a lot of stuff is with the COVID, but. So hopefully, if it's next year, Xandring, we're gonna You'll get a press pass. You'll get like an in-time pass. We'll go together. We'll do some interviews. We'll do the whole thing. It'll be awesome. No, and I think Atheist Junior is actually thinking of coming on. So maybe I'll have him come on. I'll shut my mouth for a few minutes. Yep. Okay, just got Atheist Junior. So we'll hear about him, and then I'll play the other. He hasn't seen any of the video, so he's I think he's going to be coming in. So that's nice. So yeah, I hope they do it again next year. Who knows? And also there has been drama, so I think that always. Oh, and let me
There's that Tang conference up in Indiana in May also. I'm thinking about doing a road trip up there.
The Tang one is
it in May, I think?
I think May. I think they moved it to May, and I'm going to be there. Seth Andrews is going to be there. Margaret Roscoe is going to be there. A whole bunch of people are going to be there. I'm going to be there in May, and it's in Fort Wayne, and that's run by Oz. And he did now. Oz does these things. I mean, he's a he puts on shows, performances, all that other stuff. So he knows what he's doing. And when they had to cancel this because of COVID and move it back to May, he did it online. I did the online one. I was impressed, actually. It seems to me to be kind of hard to do something like this online. It was great, and that was actually my first real experience with Seth Andrews there too, because he was there for that. So it was great. Atheist Junior, welcome. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. We've just been talking about our favorite experiences. What was your favorite experience at the Faithless Forum?
Well, you just mentioned Seth Andrews, so I'll tell a little short story about him real quick. Because when I first sort of saw Seth there, I was a little bit starstruck, I have to admit. And I wanted to go talk to him, but I was a little bit sort of like, I don't know, intimidated about it. But eventually, I ended up talking to him, and I bought his book, and he signed it and everything. And that was on Saturday, but on Sunday morning, I went down to the restaurant and saw, because I wanted to get breakfast, and I saw Seth in there, and he was sitting down at like a two-seater table, and he had like his laptop and his bag like on the other side of the table. So it looked to me like he was either waiting for somebody or just wanted to be left alone, So I went and just sat down and was eating, and then he finishes, and I thought he was just going to leave, but then he comes over and tells me, oh, you don't have to eat by yourself. You could have sat down with me. And then he sits down with me, and we have a conversation while I finished my breakfast. And I just thought that was really a nice thing of him to do. I didn't expect that.
Okay, so I think the mods are going to need to. So we've got an issue here. Some Canadian. What is this? Neil the Gay Atheist. Neil the Gay Atheist is in our. And I found out that is his real name. I saw his name tag. It was Neil the Gay Atheist. So I'm not making this shit up. That's
the 604 did look like the word gay.
Yes, I'm not making that up. It was Neil the Gay Atheist. This is not my fault. I mean, if he wants to be called, learn to fucking spell. Is it spelling if it's 604? I mean, I guess it still is, but he couldn't spell 604. Anyway, so Neil the Gay Atheist is here. I think we're gonna need to. Oh, we've been talking shit about him all night. Okay, guys, we gotta wrap that up. We can't say any more of that shit about Neil. Can't especially say any of the good things that we said, because that'll just like. So all right. Well, good to see you, Neil. Got a link if you want to come in, though. I know you may not have a camera, maybe your phone, whatever. No worries. But thank you so much for coming by. It's been a great discussion since Atheist Junior just got here. I want to give Atheist Junior a little more time to but yeah, Seth Andrews, he is a gentleman. He is a gentleman.
Yeah.
And I, for that reason, I tried to be a little extra gentlemanly with him, too, and I want to get a picture. And I was just like, but I realized he just kind of stepped in, and they had the camera, and I just stopped. I said, wait, is it all right if I take a picture with you? Would you mind taking a picture? He goes, thank you very much for asking. No, I'd love to get a picture with you. We do a picture, and as he's leaving, he goes, thank you for asking. And I was just like, oh, hey! But it's just an absolute gentleman. So... Yeah, he's one of the biggies for me too.
Yeah.
He is, by the way, ostensibly, it's not finalized. He has to talk to his wife, but right now, ostensibly, he is booked for a week from tomorrow, and we're going to be discussing how to better the conversation, how to better the discourse, especially between theists and atheists. I'm really looking forward to that. So. He is booked for next week. So, but anyways, okay. So you were telling us that story. What else happened that you enjoyed?
Yeah. Well, I sent an email to Seth today because I was telling him, we talked a few times, but I never actually told him about my channel, and so I asked him, if he'd be interested in maybe coming on so I could interview him because. I did that with like R and Ra and a couple other atheists, and so if you do have him come on, maybe put in a good word for me. But
we shoot the shit during the we're gonna have him come in. We usually try to get people there about a half hour before, do a mic check. If we don't do a mic check, the mics may work when we start, and we don't want that. So we do a mic check, and oh come on, that was fucking funny. Anyways, so we'll do a mic check. Yeah, we shoot the shit. I'll put in a good word for you.
Yeah, but Seth is great because this guy, he was the keynote speaker of the whole weekend. He had the prime slot on Saturday night, talking by himself, not on a panel, but. He is as easy to talk to as anybody else, but the panels were all really great. Although I honestly, for me, the thing that I enjoyed most was talking with people that I was only friends with online, like Erica and Jackson Wheat. I spent a lot of time hanging out with Erica, but as for the panels. They were all really great. I think my favorite was the one on Sunday morning with Erica and Jackson Wheat and Holy Kool-Aid and Rationality Rules. That was my favorite one. But the one that stood out to me the most and was the most thought-provoking was the Dying Out Loud panel. I found I can never remember that guy's name.
Dave Warnock.
Yeah, Dave. I found his speech to be very moving and poignant, and I was touched by it. I've been thinking about it ever since the weekend ended. So that was probably the speech that stood out to me the most, and was very it was just great. And for all I'm just I think it's very I'm proud of him for being able to get up on the stage and do that, because I know that he was having some back pain earlier in the day, and but he toughed it out basically. So good on him for that. It was a great talk.
So what I'm gonna do here. So we got a couple. There's Stephen. There's scientist Dr. Ben, who was awesome, and we talked about that. That was so Jib, you had asked about the dinner, right? And before you and I went to Dillahunty's, and I told you it was Neil and I, and we're at a table, and I was talking about how on In Time we do have a policy, which is we try to be as conservative as possible with the wrenches. It's not just you get them for being a friend. And Neil was just like, well, you got me one. He harassed my ass for fucking. He's like, why don't I have a wrench? Why don't I have a wrench? Why don't I have a wrench? I was like, fucking this asshole's not gonna be apparently he's not going to come by unless his baby gets a wrench. And I think I said this to him earlier. But I said it early in the stream. I'm not going to make him go back and watch the whole stream. But since Neil's here, so I said, you, Jim.
Oh, I just checked, Nick. I don't even have a wrench, and I'm not asking for one because I'm a shitty mod anyway.
Yeah.
My channel, I don't block, ban, censor. I've only blocked one person in a live chat, and that was a credible threat of violence. That's my bar. So I'm a shitty moderator.
I have to give you one as entering, but it's the only way you can drop links and all that other stuff. Don't worry, I'm sure you're gonna do something that's gonna get you demodded pretty quick. But so, anyways, I want to say, I really appreciated, of course, that you were driving me around. It was really great, and I appreciated that. But also, Neil was just looking after me the whole time. Anytime Neil's like, "What are you doing?" If I wasn't doing something, I was like, "Okay, you're coming with me," and just it was great. And when people were, and there was one conversation that I cannot I'm not gonna, but I had said this earlier too. It was like if somebody had said, "Nick, I love some of your older content," and I was just like, "Well, what older content?" Well, like Ask a Philosopher. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's old." But there've been some other questions about like he's like, "Oh no, Nick's moving on and he's doing all this other stuff," and so Neil was always speaking up for me and making sure that I was straight with people, which was really a very gentlemanly thing to do, and I noticed. And I appreciated it. So thank you, Neil. And no, I am not. Is this being recorded? Because he's gonna snap. Tons of mice is gonna snap this one, and like I'm never gonna be able to live that one down. I think we're gonna. So this show's gonna be privated immediately after. But I should do that now because I'm not gonna. No, I didn't say nothing nice about Neil the gay atheist, but. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show two things, and Neil, I don't think Neil's seen this footage yet, so Neil's going to get to see this footage for the first time. So oh yeah, we're going to say something before.
There's Neil and me.
Oh yeah. And then there you are with Oz. I took your pictures. Thank you so much for the pictures. I put your pictures into this reel, so we're doing the whole thing.
Yep.
All right, so how'd I get this?
Yeah.
What's his name? Oh my God, Derek took me out. We went out. We went to a bar. We passed. Okay, it was a 12-foot python. You'll see the python. We see the half-naked girl from behind. I didn't take the picture for the girl, believe it or not. I took the picture for the python. Did I just say I didn't take the picture for the naked girl? I took it for the python. I really have to get better with my phrasing.
Did.
We've had phrasing issues this whole fucking show. So you'll see the python there.
Yes, you can't take common phrases from different groups of people and just mash them all together into one show. Like if you're going to talk about being mated, and then you're going to talk about pythons versus the naked girl, you can't just put all this stuff into one show.
I know,
like you have to partition these things.
I'll try. I know.
And the love child of Magnum Osco and Hemet Meta.
It's been rough. So, all right. So let me do this. I'm gonna play this. So Myth Vision took me out, and we all rode mechanical bulls. I decided to use my left hand instead of my right on the bull. Did I just say okay? Okay, no, I didn't say that. So I was using my left hand, which was the weaker, but my instinct said use that and then reinforce on the right. And did I just say I'm going to reinforce on the bull with my okay? At any rate, so I was doing that. I got thrown, sprained my wrist. It's not anything permanent, but let's just see. Neil hasn't seen this, so let's love you too, bro. Love you, Neil. Let's so Neil gets to see this now. Here I am, mechanical bull, went in Texas. Let's give this a shot here. That's what I can't believe I'm fucking doing this face. And then we're going to do this one. So this is Neil after somebody told him that something was 7,000 or 7 million Scovilles. He said it's not possible. And then he just downed the thing, and it turned out it's possible.
That's a good song.
A nice idea.
That was a gift.
Give me a bottle of fucking poison. And he said,
Oh no.
okay, so Carolina Reaper is 2 million.
Yeah.
Scorpion Pepper's 1.2 million. He said this is 7 million. I said it can't be 7 million. There's no pepper that's that hot. But I didn't read all the goddamn ingredients.
Yeah.
Pure
They have
laboratory
concentrates that are
extracted
hotter than any
capsaicin.
peppers.
Yep.
That's cheating. Why don't you just give me some jet fuel? God damn.
And it's a second ingredient on the ingredients list after the Reaper peppers.
I just got one thing to say. Don't drink this.
2 minutes later, he was finishing off the bottle. Just saying.
Oh, I love Warren.
Did you get to hang with him much?
Good night. Yeah, I did. Oh, real quick, I just wanted to mention like just a few other things real quick, and then I'll be finished. You were talking about Neil. He had messaged me on Twitter before this weekend saying he said, how have I never had you on my show before? I said, well, I don't know, let's do it. And he said, well, do you want to do it before or after Faithless Forum? And I said, well, if I'm going to be there, why don't we just do it in person? So we did that on Saturday night. If you haven't seen that video, I think the interview came out really good. And then I hit some milestones over this weekend. Like I got to 2,000 subs, and then today I just actually got my first payment from like AdSense for YouTube, my first one in my bank. So that was like kind of awesome. I just wanted to say that. So I'm done.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I feel like a real full-fledged YouTuber now. So that's that's awesome. You know.
Very nice. Very nice. All right, well, so that's it. So we've shown the videos. I think it's probably about time to start wrapping up. But I'm really glad you came here. We were starting to wrap up, but I saw you were going to come in. I wanted to take a little extra time, and congratulations on that, because that happened while we were there, and I didn't get a chance to catch up with you at all. But everybody was talking about the fact that you had just hit the 2,000 subs, and I think you were streaming, right? You just did a stream from there to commemorate you had just hit 2,000, right?
No, but I put out a tweet about it, but Neil did a live stream interviewing me on his show. But I think that was before I actually hit it. But yeah, I guess the word got around.
No, it did. It did. Everybody was happy for you, man. So I'm sorry you and I didn't get a chance to catch up. But all right. So any final thoughts? Let's start with the man who let's face it, got hosed. He got fucked. Couldn't go. Couldn't, I kept DMing Xandring and like, oh man, I'd love to talk to you, but I'm just having too much fucking fun, man. I'm sorry, but let's catch up. I'll catch up with you in a couple hours. Next day, oh, you wouldn't believe what I did last night. But what have you been up to? So Xandring.
Yeah, I was transporting some of the voter machines that Trump ordered from Russia from the Seattle airport down to Intel in Portland. So that's what I got to do.
That's kind of scary. So that's legit straight up Russian stuff. Are we even allowed to talk about that?
Sure.
Sure,
I mean, I might not be a good
Soviet
cat paw,
military, but whatever. Like, sure, it's wrapped in black bags. Like, you cannot talk about what you're carrying. Just take it right off a Russian plane. Okay.
I have the bestest tarps. They're the greatest tarps, and Mexico paid for them.
I came so close to getting Vicente Fox to come on and say, in time, will not pay for no fucking wall. It's one of those, you got to put together like $200 to get. No, I think for Vicente Fox, you got to get like $300 or $400 to get him to say, in time, will not pay for no fucking wall. I'm tempted. I'm close. But no. Okay. Well, I got the pictures. It's really weird. So for those of you who don't know, Xandring is our co-host, and he's a trucker, and he's carrying all sorts of stuff, and sometimes it's not always glamorous. But even when it was the ties for the utility poles, it's sort of like, okay, people are going to die if you don't get them down there as quickly as possible because it's after a hurricane and they need electricity. It's like, okay, so that may not be sexy, but goddamn, that's like, I mean, let's as noble as it is, I'd still rather have been at Faithless Forum. I mean, let's not go crazy, but at least, and so now you're carrying this stuff that you literally got off a Russian plane with a flag on it, and like covered in tarps and the whole nine. Yeah,
it's a Russian plane with the Russia flag on the tail. The writing on the side of it's in Russian, and that's a huge plane too. It's like the whole front nose has to lift up to load and unload it in the big car. So yeah, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this plane that unloaded it, and it's like, okay, that flag looks vaguely familiar, and I'm pretty sure that language is Russian. And I'm picking up a big old crate, like 10 feet tall, 8 feet wide, and 9.5 feet long. And it's going to Intel outside of Portland, Oregon. I
It's the
suddenly
voting
forgot the name of the
machines.
place.
It's the voting machines.
Yeah,
You
and
got it.
so I'm thinking this has got to be the. And they made me tarp it, so I had to pull out the black stealth tarps, and that took me a while to do in the dark. At the last minute, well, I wasn't even supposed to be working on Sunday. They just called me up Sunday afternoon. Oh, hey, by the way, can you go do this? Just drive down and drive your truck and trailer right onto the little runways of SeaTac International Airport, because this plane just unloaded a bunch of stuff. It looked like it puked a bunch of stuff out of the front of it, and we have to move it.
If you hear
it was a last minute thing, and it's like,
if you hear beeping, safe to ignore. You have kids already, yes?
yeah, exactly. Like, don't listen too much.
If you hear a voice, just keep driving.
Yeah, just keep driving. Ignore it.
Oh, for fuck's sake! All right, well, thank you, Senator. Yeah, all right, well, it's not. Okay, now I really want to know. Now I'm a little scared. I don't know if I want to meet you again. It depends on what you're carrying for cargo, to be quite honest. All right, so Jim, tell us a bit about any final thoughts on the experience and
Yeah. I live so close to RN. I see him all the time. So when we saw each other at the conference, with fist bump, hey man, good to see you again. Anthony Mandamos go, hey, how you doing? How's the table going? But the two people that made my face light up that weekend was seeing Neil again and seeing you for the first time out of everybody there.
Oh, thank you. Well,
that's no shit, man.
Oh, thank you, man. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Like I said,
December
you were like a
3rd.
brother. Yeah.
Thank you. For my channel, Atheist Edge, just Google it. And then December 3rd, Lavender Lady and Pale Blue Mama are going to join me to talk to a guy named Melchizedek Roberts. And he's the one that thinks the Earth, the moon is hollow, and that force equals mass times acceleration proves God. So that's December 3rd. That should be pretty fun.
Remind me. I want to watch that. I'm gonna be up for hanging out on the Discord a little bit. We're gonna just have the after show on our Discord. I guess where Blazing Wizard says.
I would normally, but I did a round of disc golf. I've been running around the house. My wife's on Thanksgiving break, so she's got a honey-do list a mile long. I get it probably. Oh, we're cleaning out the garage tomorrow. It's going to be a full deal, so I'm probably going to take a pass on that.
I come back. At Titan too. I was just like, so Titan's like, oh, what are you doing? And I said, oh, I was just doing all this stuff. So say, business. He's just like, yeah, funny business. Just tell me about the snake. I was like, there's nothing happened with the snake. Tell me about the snake. Nothing happened with the snake. I don't think I'm getting the whole story. Yeah, there may be some truth to that. So, let's see. I'll tell you when the picture of the snake comes up. We'll do this for one more round. I'll tell you when the picture of the snake comes up. There's the pirate. All right, and then wait, there was one other thing. So let's see. There's going to be the voice lounge is open. So I don't know what there's a chat for members. That's a separate thing, but the voice chat should be open. It's going to take me a little bit to get in there because so what my wife did was, I tell my wife, what's going on, and I'm having a good time and all this other shit. And she goes to conferences too. The last conference she went to, you have to have a PhD to even get in through the fucking door. And it's an immuno-oncology and infectious disease conference. That's what she's going to. And so I was like, okay, so when they're doing body shots off of do they go by degree, or do they say how do they figure out who's gonna? And she's just like, I hate you. So it's like, well, I gotta go do my serious business YouTube conference, but you have fun saving the world. And but she's like, and she's just talking to me the whole time. She's like, I'm so glad you're having fun. I'm so glad all these wonderful things. And I'm believing this, right? Because I'm a sucker. So I'm just like, oh, thanks, honey. She goes, listen, you go out and have a good time. Make sure you go out and meet lots of people. Go do all these wonderful things. I was just like, oh, don't worry, I'm going to do that. She goes, oh, good. I'm so glad. I don't want you to come back and hear that you were bored and you didn't have a good time. I was like, oh no, it'll be great. And so I come back, and she's like, oh, these are all the things that I could have done while you were out, but I knew you would want to make sure they were done right. So here's all this. And there were a couple other things, too, that I just said last time I did this, I screwed this up. So let's put that on your list. So here's your list, hon. I'm going to go sleep in late. Have fun. Oh, the girls' laundry, my laundry, and your laundry didn't get done from last. I don't know how that happened. Make sure it's done by tomorrow.
I'm so glad I'm not
10
the
a.m.
only one that happened to.
Yeah, actually, it wasn't 10 a.m. She's like, has to be done tomorrow by 6 a.m. because the girls are going to school and they got to have clean clothes on. Good night. It's like, you fucker. Yeah. But, all right. So, and then I was gonna, oh, there's the Python. Python, you see, for people who are lying, think I'm lying. There's the Python. You can see, there's the Python right there. Now, okay, yeah, I said it was like 32 feet the first time, but I was running past it. And yes, there were chances of 𝐂𝐚𝐥𝐿. That literally happened. But fortunately, that's not why I was running. But you were there. I mean, that was they were out there, and it's like they didn't know that we were in there. Thankfully, because that would have been bad. I'm thinking Austin may not be the city for this in the future, but. Anyways.
Oh, well, that's your first time in Austin? 6th Street and 4th Street is a damn carnival every weekend, year round. It's like that every weekend.
That's why the snake was there. And I have another picture. I didn't manage to get it in of basically the entire carnival. And there's just everybody's there. And it was awesome. And I'll have to say, if I had more time, I left a little earlier. I was like, I should have just hung out a little bit because, there was some nice views. I was like, damn, I've been in New York and that kicked their ass. I was like, holy fuck. So I started thinking about like all of the really hot women that were there. And I was just like, oh my God. And I was like, I'm going to take some pictures and it's going to be good. Oh yeah. And my wife is going to use phone and I've done enough laundry for a fucking week. So, fortunately, I don't think she watches these streams fully through, so I don't think. I mean, there was nothing. It was, it was like mostly like gay guys and just it wasn't. No, there was nothing. Ooh, yeah. Anyways, moving on. So and now if next time we're on stream, I look like I've had the living shit kicked out of me. Yeah, that was my wife. And it's because she literally, like at one point she got so pissed at me. This is true. She's just like, because she's got a PhD in biochemistry. So she's just like, I have figured out how to remove the Y chromosome. We don't need it. It's an extra you don't fucking need the Y chromosome. She's like, I will end your entire sex. I was just like, fuck, she's pissed. So I don't, if I'm a lizard, next time we're here, if I'm green and I got scales, that's why. I took a joke too far. That's why. Atheist, did Atheist Junior bail? Because I wanted to give him one more chance to, he bailed. Okay. I missed it. So,
but I caught him in the private chat. So, he's added to the dance card too. I'm going to try to get him on the show as well.
All right. Well, as I said before, what we do have some atheist content. We're not an atheist channel in my view. We do lean that way, but we've also done interviews with theists and we've let them tell their stories, and I think that's important. We're an educational show, so I really enjoyed that conference a lot, and I thought it was worth talking about how much I enjoyed it. And I certainly am an atheist. Most of the people who have worked here or do work here now are atheists, so we certainly do identify. But our content isn't going to be taking a hard turn there. It will probably for the next month because we do have a number of people from this conference who's going to be attending. But it's we're also still going to be doing our news. We're still going to be doing all the educational work, and but this was something that I certainly enjoyed very much. I'm very glad that the people that we've had on, who've come on before, and friends like Jim were there, and I got to finally meet you guys in 3D for the first time. So thank you all for that. And we're still also a YouTube channel, and it was really nice to meet other YouTubers who have common interests and all get together. So this was a marvelous time, and I do hope they do it again. And like I said, that may be in contention, but I hope they do it again. And I look forward to catching up with everybody at some other point. Again, some of these people, you know, if you're ever in my state and want to hang out, would love to catch up with you guys. But barring that, thank you all for joining us. Like I said, tomorrow, right now, we don't have a show scheduled, and my suspicion is it's going to stay that way. If we have an opportunity come up, we will take it. But right now, we're focused on having the best possible program we can for when Seth comes on. That probably, yes, will involve me having my mic muted for most of the show. But nonetheless, we're looking forward to a show. Seth Andrews a week from tomorrow, and a few other shows coming up that I think I'm really proud of, and I hope you guys will join us. If you made it this far, I think that means that you've liked the show. I hope you like and subscribe. It really helps us out in the algorithm, and that's important. That's why everybody mentions it. And please don't hesitate. If you watched, if you participated in Faithless Forum in any way, or if you have any comments or anything you want to discuss, you know what? Put it right in the comments section. Let us know. I get back. I read all the comments. I respond to most of them. So, you know, say hi, and look forward to catching up with you guys later. Good night, everyone.